he couldn't get it up at a swingers party. That became a topic of a conversation at the cigar lounge last night. Because what had happened, just to give you the backstory real quick, one of those Hims commercials came up, and a young lady at the cigar lounge didn't know what Hims were. So after it being explained, she went on this conversation tirade about how if a man can't get it up, then he has no business being in that type of situation with a woman, that if he needs some extra help, that that's not real, it's not him, and he shouldn't be involved in that type of relationship. I found it interesting because that's when I started to extol the story of a young man and a young lady who went to a swingers event. And as my understanding of it goes, the young man, this was his first time. So he already had a lot of anxiety just being in that environment in the first place and was struggling to get it up. And his young lady harshly said to him that is it going to get, you promise, do you promise it's going to get up if I, take it in my mouth or take it from behind? Which way is it going to get up? And the way that it was said, the young man felt even more and more pressure. And so he struggled. After a while, they both just gave up. Now, I know some of you are going to say that they shouldn't have been in that environment, blah, 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 blah. But to everybody, to each his own. But we further to discuss the fact that oftentimes, especially when a man passes a certain age, his testosterone levels start to drop. He doesn't produce as much testosterone as he normally does. And so sometimes, especially if his diet is off, his liquid intake is off, he may only get about 80, 90%. And to some women, 80, 90% is fine, but there are certain positions you can't get into if he's only 80, 90%. There's no ride him cowgirl. If he's only at 80, 90%, it's going to continue to fall out. And then if she makes harsh comments towards him, he's going to struggle even more, because a man's ability to perform is integral to his confidence. So if he has to take some type of supplement in order to help him in that area, for it to be looked down upon, it's just going to make him more, give him more anxiety about the whole situation. And anxiety will kill the cat every time. Well, in this actually anxiety is not going to kill the cat. The cat's going to be bored if he has anxiety, or the cat's going to have to take care of itself if there's anxiety involved. It's no laughing matter. But we continue to have this discussion about the fact that is it that rough that if a woman speaks to a man a certain way while he's trying to perform and he's not able to perform because of the way she's speaking, does that make the man weak? Does that speak to his lack of confidence? He's already struggling with confidence in the fact that he is having this issue. And I was interested. It's interesting that the Hims commercials are geared towards younger men, but I guess their diets are even more messed up, or it's just a money grab. But the mere fact that how a man handles things emotionally is always, or oftentimes, I should say, downgraded. That if a man has struggles, that if a man has issues with anxiety, if a man has issues with his confidence when it comes to that area, that women have a tendency to look at that man as being a weaker man, not understanding that just as women go through things, so do men go through things. And almost every man at some point in his time, at some point in time in his life, will go through those types of things. I myself don't give a damn. I really don't. If a woman says to me that, oh, if you need to take a pill in order for you to gain that erection, which has absolutely nothing to do with how I find you mentally attractive or anything of that nature, it's just a physiological thing. If a woman were to say to me that that's a problem, that she wouldn't want to deal with me, I would tell her to kick rocks. I don't give a damn. Go on about your business. But the mere fact that there's this stigma tied to it is what I find disheartening, because oftentimes you will hear women who will say that a man should look at a woman for more than just as a sexual object, and look at a woman for the entirety of the woman, her personality, her gentleness, those types of things, her support, all of those, her mental. But when it comes to a man, we don't get that same thing in return. What we get in return is this expectation for you to be, you know, a champion at all times. And I know that there will come a time in my life where I will have to have something like that in order to get an erection, period. Much less if you get a chubby. So I advise the young lady that if she ever comes in contact with that, and she is of my age range, and I told her that most likely any man that you date within our age range, most of them are going to have some type of issue with that. But if he can't become transparent with you and be able to say that, you know, from time to time, or if all times he needs something like that, but you look at it as it being false, it's not being the real him, and you speak to him harshly about it, you are going to find yourself by yourself because he's not going to be able to handle being shamed by his woman on a constant basis because of his sexual performance. And I asked her then, what about if that same thing was coming towards you? What if you, as you get older, some women have dryness? What if he complains about your dryness? What if he says that, oh, you must not be attracted to me because of your dryness? What if he says that you having to take a supplement or add some type of gel or whatever because of your dryness is not the real you, and therefore he doesn't want to be with you? Is that fair? So always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibration.